Welcome back to this week's video. This is one of my favorite nail art looks for spring that's really easy to do. This video will also show you how I do fills with some cuticle prep, some nail shaping, my favorite way to do glass nails, and then also an overlay trick that really makes these nails pop. So starting off with my nails today, I currently just have clear builder gel and clear top coat on, so I don't have too much to remove, but because I am doing a fill, I still want to leave a thin layer of this builder gel on my nails, which is going to keep my nails strong and help prevent me from over prepping my natural nails. So I'm really just thinning out my builder gel here, kind of debulking that apex that I built when I first did these nails a few weeks ago. And I'm checking my angles constantly because I just want this to be flattened out but still leave a thin layer, like I said. And flattening out my base is really important for this manicure, especially because I'm not keeping my length. I'm actually taking pretty much all of my length off and going super short. I really like taking my nails short from time to time because I know that I'll be able to grow them back out since I use builder gel. It'll just take me a couple of manicures. And as always, if you want to learn this exact process, I have a full length tutorial video on my website. I'm a professional nail tech and I put together a really comprehensive tutorial that will teach you exactly how to do this safely. And I really recommend it because efile removal and cuticle work is my favorite thing that keeps your manicures lasting for a really long time, but it also just looks so great. It also goes into builder gel application and how to apply it so that it's long lasting and so that you can get a really beautiful, better than salon quality look. I pushed my cuticles back to just kind of expose my nail bed a little bit more, and now I'm using a nib bit to just gently exfoliate off any dead skin on my nails. The dead skin is technically called cuticle, and you really want to make sure that you remove all of the cuticle from your nails because that is a really big contributor to gel lifting, especially around the sidewalls and the cuticle area. The way that I'm using this bit also lifts up the cuticle pockets. You can see here how the skin around my cuticle area is kind of standing up a little bit more, and it's exposing dead skin that I can easily clip off now. I do this because I love the way that it looks when you clip off that dead skin, but dead skin can also turn into hangnails, which are never fun, so I just prefer to remove it completely, which we'll get to soon. But before I remove it, I'm using my hand file to kind of smooth out the surface. Sometimes when I use my e-file, it leaves behind some divots or grooves in my nails, so this is a good way to just make sure that it's completely even and flattened out a little bit more. And while I have my hand file out, I'm getting started on my shaping, and as you can see, I'm pretty much taking off the majority of my free edge and doing a squoval shape. And I apologize that this is slightly out of focus, but I just file off most of the length and then kind of do a straight across file on the top of my nails and then just gently round the corners or edges of my nails to get that squoval shape. And if you've seen some of my videos before, you know that I like to shape my nails more than once, so I'm not too concerned about making the shape perfect right now because I'll reshape it a little bit more at the end of the manicure too. Another tip I have for when you're taking off this much length is to make sure that once you're at the length that you like, to file the surface and thin out your nails a little bit more, because my previous manicure I built up the surface of my nails where my new free edge is, and sometimes it can just be a little bit too thick for the new length that my nails are. So I want to make sure that the tips of my nails are thin so that it looks natural, but also so that the builder gel doesn't lift. Now I'm just gently clipping off that dead skin that was all lifted up during the cuticle prep earlier. And after I clip off the skin, sometimes I like to use this really fine diamond ball bit, which just gently exfoliates the skin, and this really helps prevent hangnails from coming back because sometimes when you're clipping off the skin it can be like a little bit jagged, and this does a really great job of smoothing the skin out so that hangnails don't grow back. It's painless. It takes like 2 extra minutes in my routine, and I think it makes such a big difference in keeping my nails and manicure looking great for a longer time once I'm done with them. And when I'm finally done with prep, I cleanse my nails really well with 90% isopropyl alcohol, which removes all the dust and oils so that this gel will adhere and stick as best as possible. And now it's time for gel application, and while I'm applying my base gel, let me take a second to explain what exactly glass nails are. The way I think about them personally are nails that have a really nice dimension and almost look 3D, like a glass bead or a marble. And the way that you achieve this is by layering polishes and using polishes with different dimensions. Since I'm doing so many layers today, I want to make sure that most of these layers are really thin so you can see that my base gel application application here is super thin. I also want to make sure that it looks really natural as it's growing out, so I'm concentrating on making the cuticle area really thin and seamless. And I'll pretty much be checking that with each layer of polish and every step of this manicure. Now I'm using a builder gel. This is Taro Milk Tea Base by Nail Thoughts, which is a really pretty milky lavender polish. Even though this is a builder gel, I'm applying it a little bit differently right now. I'm basically just doing a thin slip layer and then floating a really small bead through it to make sure that the surface is nice and even, but I'm not actually building a true overlay like I usually would with builder gel, because I'm planning to do that later in the manicure to get that true glass look. And here you can see how I'm really concentrating on making the cuticle area thin. I'm starting a little bit above it, floating the gel up towards the free edge of my nails, and then I'll start to just gently push it back towards the cuticle and then float that towards the free edge of the nails as well. This just ensures that I'm not putting too much gel near my cuticle area so that I can get that really seamless grow out and that it's not too thick. I just really hate when there's like that curb at the base of your nail, so this just really helps me make sure that it looks really nice and smooth and even. And it's totally okay that this doesn't look like a super smooth, even purple nail at this point, because this manicure is all about the layers. The next layer is Cocoa's Lavender Water, which is a lavender, super silky magnet gel. I think magnet gel is one of the key components to doing glass nails because it gives your nails so much dimension and just really makes them look so beautiful and shifty in the light. And I'm just doing a very thin layer of this polish as well and then activating it with the magnet. This polish is slightly sheer, so I really like having Taro Milk Tea Base underneath because I think it keeps this looking really light and pastel and perfect for spring. Once I activate the magnetic particles in the polish, I always move my nails around a couple of times to make sure that it looks how I want it, and then I'll cure it immediately and work one finger at a time so that the particles don't turn down before I have time to freeze them in place. I feel like you can see on my other nails that the color application looks a little bit uneven, but once you apply the magnet gel and activate the magnet, I think it looks a lot more even and uniform. I just think this polish is seriously magic. It's like my favorite thing. And another thing I love is that this manicure is so many layers, but all of the polishes are pretty pigmented, and so you don't need too much polish, which means that your manicure looks nice and thin. It doesn't look thick and bulky, and it looks so cool and dimensional still. Okay, I am obsessed with this line of polishes. This is Amethyst Flash by Nail Thoughts. It's a flash glitter with a really sheer purple base. This is from the Birthstone collection, which is 12 different polishes like this, but I obviously had to choose amethyst because the purple is just perfect. And this polish is just so great for layering because the purple is so sheer that it's not going to overtake the cat eye underneath at all. You can still see it perfectly, and the flash glitter is just so reflective and definitely a new obsession of mine. And here's another look at my nails right now. They're still really thin, they're not bulky, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I feel like I'm using a really light hand here so that I can just kind of float the polish across my nail, but also just making sure that there isn't too much on my brush so that it's not pooling or like gooping anywhere, to keep my nails really thin. And I know I sound like a broken record, but this is the fourth layer. So if we weren't concentrating on making the nails thin, they would just kind of be like bulky and look not good. So that's why it's important to keep that in mind with each step of the manicure. So I actually did this manicure for the Guts tour last year. And so that's why I'm adding these star decals, but I think that this is a really cute addition to this manicure, and you could do something besides stars too. Like you could do like little twinkles or flowers for spring would be really nice. But I feel like so many of the Korean and Japanese nails that I see on my For You page and my Discover feed have little star decals, so I loved trying these out. And the stickers are so much easier to use than the sequins in my opinion because they just lay flush with your nail and you can kind of press them on, and you don't have to worry about them like sticking up and making sure that they're like not poking through your top coat or anything. And speaking of top coat, it's time for top coat, but instead of applying this in the way that we normally would, I'm actually building an overlay with my top coat, because at this point I haven't really built an overlay except for that really small one that I did with the builder gel. And the reason why I'm doing the overlay now with the top coat instead of with the builder gel earlier is because now I'm kind of encapsulating every layer that I put down on my nails, and I think this is the key to making these nails look 3 three-dimensional and like a glass bead. I just think doing the clear overlay gives your nails a really unique look, and it does look a bit different than if you were to do the overlay with the builder gel, because that would kind of get lost with all the layers that you put on top. And I'm basically applying this the same way that I would apply builder gel, by doing a slip layer and then kind of floating a bigger bead of the polish through the nail, and then giving it some time to self-level, and then curing each nail individually. So let's compare two of my nails right now. You can see on my middle finger that I don't have the overlay, and the line of light is kind of wavy and sort of bouncing around a little bit. Whereas on my pointer finger, where I did do the overlay, it looks a lot more even and uniform and smooth. The line of light isn't bouncing around, which is a strong indicator that my overlay is nice and balanced and even. This works really well if you have a self-leveling top coat, and I'm using the Cocoa's Ultra Glossy Non-Wipe Top Coat, which is not as hard as a builder gel at all, but it does self-level really, really nicely. And once I'm done with the top coat, I'm bringing my hand file back out to finish up the shape and also do a finish file. Now I would say that I'm just kind of touching up the shape and making sure that the tops of my nails are flat, because that's really important for having squoval nails. You can't have a rounded top. I'm really not taking off any length here. I'm just gently kind of touching up the shape. And then I also bevel the edge to make sure that the products don't lift off of my natural nails either. And now that we're done with these final touch-ups, it's time for the final reveal. Obviously, I love these nails. They look so dimensional. They are just so cute and pastel and perfect for spring. But because we used flash glitter, where they really shine is when you turn the lights down, turn the exposure down, and turn on your flash. When I first did these and saw what they looked like in the flash, I was low-key freaking out, because I just think they look so, so cool. And even though it is kind of a lot of layers, it's still pretty simple, and the payoff is just so worth it. Like, these are truly some of my favorite nails I've ever done. I just think they look incredible. And I'm gonna try some other layering combos for spring, because I need this type of manicure on my nails again, stat. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you try this, you have to send me a picture, because I think everybody needs to try the glass nails trend. It's just the best. Be sure to subscribe. I'll be back next week with another video, and thanks again for watching. Bye.